Yo, Darren, what the Yeah, that's what's up. So there's certain things in this world that are hard to explain and people don't really, they never like them. Like, when they charge you roaming on your cell phone, or you're traveling abroad and now your cell phone costs $1,000 to make a same phone call on the same network, blah, blah, that stuff. The going into a bathroom and having to pull the handle out, knowing that other people didn't wash their hands. Why don't all doors push out of the bathroom so you can just throw your elbow into it? All life's little questions that just are impossible to answer. This one has to do with cars, and we're talking potholes. Why are we talking potholes? Because potholes don't really make a lot of sense. It's a hole that never seems to get fixed. And you read stories, there's one that just came up, and it's actually pretty funny. It's in the UK, a town of Cheshire, and that's where everyone's like, hey mate, that's not how you say it, you cheeky wank. Well, I'm going to pronounce it Cheshire for the entire video, so get over it. And the town said, look, here's Darren. Darren is an unfortunate employee who happens to work for this town, and he is measuring a pothole. And mind you, his entire body is in the pothole, but he's measuring it, and the caption was, Darren inspects it and explains that as it is under 50 millimeters, no action need be taken at this time. Now, Darren's entire body is in the pothole. And this, I think, highlights the frustration that most people have. Just fix the fucking hole. Like, you're standing in it. Like, you're there measuring it. Why don't you just fill it? And if you fill it, why don't you do it right? Now, I've just going on the internet and researching potholes for a minute, you are going to be frustrated as hell because you see everybody, every news story, every this, guy's shoveling shit in the pothole, and he comes back the next day. We increased our budget by $100 million for potholes this year, and we've tackled 120,000 potholes in the city of New York, or city of whatever. There's not 120,000 streets. So you got to think right now, if you have this many potholes, there's a big problem. That means every street has multiple potholes, or you're filling the same potholes multiple times, which means you're not doing it right. And if you're not doing it right, you should probably address this. This is now the age where you talk to a creature in your, not even a creature, you talk to artificial intelligence in your house and it responds with what you want. Cars are driving themselves. Like, this is not a time where we should be worrying about how do you fix that freaking hole over there? It just keeps coming back. They don't have this problem all over the world. So clearly it's something that's isolated to incompetency. And you go to Germany and go on the Autobahn, I'm going to use that example because it's a highway, there's not potholes all over the place. You repave a road properly, you don't develop potholes on that road for 10 years. Or like there's one on a stretch of road. So why don't we do it right instead of throwing shit? And like, I can't find it. And for the life of me, I looked. There was a guy driving by, and it was in Detroit or Michigan somewhere. Motherfuckers driving by, videotaping guys filling potholes. The guy's standing in the truck and just lobbing shit out of the truck, and then they drive by. What is that going to do? What is throwing some pebbles and rocks and asphalt, whatever the concoction is that they happen to be throwing, cold patch, into the general direction of the hole? How is that solving anything? Now, there are roads out there that are just atrocious. Freaking repave them. If you even start to begin to look at how much money is allocated for paving of roads and highway systems, and where that money ultimately goes, most of it probably goes to pensions and nonsense like that. But you have terrible roads and you have potholes, which is such an easy thing to do. You have a hole here, what do? You fucking dig it out bigger and fix it with a big smooth patch and it doesn't come back. Don't just like throw something on it and then you have this big rut in the road or bump in the road now because you just lumped shit on and tried to pop it down real quick. Fix it properly. Fix the whole road. If you have a bunch of potholes in the road, repave the damn thing so it's not a problem year in and year out. You have articles about, yeah, we average about 110,000 potholes a year that we fix. Well, it's all isolated to the winter primarily. Fix the freaking roads. Why is that such a problem? And there's guys that are just dedicated to fixing and repaving roads. And why are they not repairing them properly? because it's job security ultimately. If you fix it right, then you don't have a freaking job. You're not going to be repurposed. Just like, well, shit, they're going to call me back 6 years from now because that's going to be the useful lifespan of this section that's been repaired. If you're always chasing your own tail, you got a job for life, and then you're in it long enough, then you get your pension for life, and you're paid forever for never fixing what you were hired to do. It's embarrassing. It is something that we should not be facing. It's not a problem we should be doing. The damage that you're causing to people's cars that doesn't get reimbursed, that people blow out tires, and they, whatever, shit happens. Like, don't come looking to us. We need to make sure that pothole was reported 16 times, then we have 5 days to fucking go fix it, and their fix is bullshit anyway. The state, you trying to get your $200 or $300 from the state is virtually a terrible, terrible use of your time, because the amount of time and frustration and headache that you get to potentially recover your expense is not worth it. I assure you of that. And they know that, and that's why they make it so difficult. Now, given the fact that this problem doesn't seem to be fixable because the people that are in a position to fix it don't want to, how do you do it? You don't put low-profile tires on your car. Now, there's a guy named Jimbo. He happens to be filming right now, and he said, I'm going to get monoblock wheels for my Benz. And he had a Mercedes, put these nice monoblock wheels on it with these little 25 profile tires, and inside a week, he blows out 2 tires. One, driving down the road. We're driving down to Philadelphia. He's like, hey, is this road no good? And if you call and ask a question like that, you can assume that there's something wrong with your car. And sure enough, Jimbo had a flat tire from hitting an inconsequential rut in the road on the New Jersey Turnpike. So he had to pull over, and he was stuck on the side of the road. And after his second flat tire in 3 or 4 days, Jimbo decided maybe this isn't the right thing for me, because the spare tire that he had in the trunk had whatever the correct sidewall was. Let's just say it was 45 to 65. And now you're going from 25 millimeters to 65 millimeters. That's a lot more cushion. That's a lot more rubber before you pinch that sidewall against the rim and blow out your tire. Again, there's potholes. The potholes that I'm talking about, you could fit a car in it. Now, if you look at some of these things, and that's why I said, fuck you, Darren, but poor Darren. You look at this thread, and I don't know if it's on, I don't know where it was. It's on Twitter. But I love people. Like, I hate people, but I love people at the same time. And you give the internet the chance to go at you, and they go at you. And I'll go through some of my favorites here. People highlighted instantly that Darren that was using his spirit level, which was this long, put it halfway down in the hole to measure the 50 millimeters. He didn't measure from street level. He measured from like below grade. And it's just some of these photoshops, like the Grand Canyon. Darren, get back up here. Call the office and tell them to bring out our biggest spirit level. I mean, there's just a bunch of like guys jumping into the abyss and then saying, nope, that doesn't need repairs. It's just great. If you read it, I'm going to link in the description. You will laugh your ass off. There's a whole bunch of images here. But it's good stuff. Darren, unfortunately, had to be the face of this, which sucks. But it's very, very entertaining. So, potholes, I don't think there's anything more frustrating than that in the world, as far as the driving world, especially if you live in the Northeast. You don't have these problems as much in colder climates. Potholes are essentially sort of like water and everything getting in the pothole and then freezing and expanding, or just the deterioration of a shitty road, shitty previous repairs, and then just constant traffic or truck traffic over it. There's a bunch of reasons that holes develop, but if you fix them properly, they don't come back. If you just fix an area, it doesn't come back. Why don't we do that? Why don't we give that a shot? What do you think? Huh? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sure you all have a pothole story, and I'm sure you've driven down the road so you get it. And I don't think anyone's going to possibly be able to defend, like, except for a guy who's sitting there down in Florida collecting his $300,000 a year pension from filling potholes. Everybody else is going to know it's bullshit. Rob Ferretti, see you next time.